Hey everyone, this is Seth with Food Challenge News. Welcome back to another podcast interview. Today I'm joined by Josh Crady, aka Josh the Goat. Josh, thanks for coming on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on here.
Every superhero, every competitive eater, all have origin stories. So can you tell us a little bit about what is the goat's origin story?
It, I kind of just got walked into it. I don't know. I know everybody's stories are different. So I'm going to start where I grew up always being like an overeater. I always ate big meals. My mom always made big meals, always asked if I wanted like seconds, and then there's dessert afterwards. So I grew up eating a lot. I loved eating. Food's delicious. I mean, who doesn't love food? I loved going to buffets. So I was pretty much overweight most of my life. And so at one point in October 2018, I finally made the choice to finally lose some weight. And so I started to get eating healthy and eating normal portions, and that was the goal. And in 3 months I actually ended up losing like 52 pounds, and I was super happy. And I know a lot of other eaters came from this same background where they were overweight and they went through a period where they got healthy and lost all the weight, but then realized they could still eat. So at one point, after I lost all my weight, a friend said I should go celebrate and go to a buffet. And I was actually really scared to try that because there were a lot of people say, don't do that. You'll backslide, you'll go back into a bad habit of eating. Reward yourself with something like new clothes. Don't reward yourself with a buffet. But I was like, you know what? I'm pretty good at controlling myself now. I think I can do this. So I went to a buffet, and I'll tell you what, after 3 months of not eating a lot, it was very rough. I ate a decent amount, but I got home and I felt awful. But after that, I just went back to my normal eating, and it turned out I was able to balance my calories that way. And I realized I could have like a weekly cheat meal. And so one week I was like, okay, I'm going to try to eat 2 dozen donuts. And I recorded myself doing it, and it's actually on my YouTube channel. I haven't watched it in years. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just sit down and I try to eat 2 dozen donuts. I don't think I even finished them, but that was kind of like the initial kind of start of it, but that's not when I started like my channel. And then a friend told me about a pancake challenge at a local restaurant called Anna Marie's, Roseford, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania. And so we went there, and it was these three massive pancakes, and if you finished them, you got the meal free. Well, I finished them and got the meal free. Both my other friends who tried it as well didn't even get close. And after that, I was looking up like food challenges, and I stumbled across Randy Santel on YouTube and started exploring foodchallenges.com, and it opened a whole world to me there. And so I started researching things and then recording myself doing it, and then I'm like, you know what? I can put mine on YouTube. So that's kind of how I got into it.
How did you come up with the nickname of the goat?
The goat. That I every once in a while I mention it here and there, but I never gave a formal like explanation. So let's get this out in the open. I came up with it from it does have nothing to do with greatest of all time. I get that a lot. But no, it's literally a goat. So I was watching an episode of Curious George with my son, and it was an episode of about goats, and they were eating everything. And George let them into their house, and they were eating everything in the house. And the man in the yellow hat came in. He wasn't even home at the time, and he came in. He called the farmer, and he was talking to the farmer, and they were talking, and came up that goats have, like, they don't actually have, but it was like they have cast iron stomachs and can eat almost anything, and it doesn't even bother them. So I thought to myself, I'm like, I can kind of eat anything and it never really bothers me, where other people eat something and it makes their stomach feel upset or they get sick or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? I'm a goat. So I was like, I'll go with the goat food challenges. And that sounded fun to me. So it started off as the goat food challenges. And then after like a year or two, I kind of just dropped the food challenges part because it was just like it was too long and it just confused people. Like I actually got one restaurant that thought like I had my own challenges. They're like, "What challenges do you offer?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I do challenges." So I dropped the food challenges and now I just go with Josh the Goat.
You also have your own song as well. Is that something that you paid to get done, or did you record that yourself?
I did. I thought about maybe trying to do something myself, but I knew it wouldn't be as cool. Like I haven't used to play guitar and but I haven't dabbled in like I used to write songs too, but I haven't done that in years. Like it's got to be over 15 years. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look up like some options what I can do, and I found an app called Fiverr, and I found a guy on there, and for less than $100, I actually got someone to create. I just gave him some like things I wanted included in it, and he came up with it. And then there's my theme song. And then I just created a cool little intro to back it. And I'm getting a lot of input from people that they really like it. Gives them a good 90s cartoon vibe, they say.
Definitely become iconic with your channel as well. And your first video uploaded to YouTube mid 2017 was actually a lawnmower review. It wasn't anything to do with food. So what inspired you to go from that review to eventually uploading food content?
Yeah, that was actually I before I started the food content, I had a channel called JJ's Sloppy Vlogs, and they are all still online, but they're all marked as I don't know if they're private or unlisted, so you can't really watch them. But I took them all down. The only one I left up was that review because it actually had so many views. It had like I don't know, it was like 36,000 views. I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave it up. Why not? So I had just like a little silly vlog channel, and then as I started wanting to post these videos, I'm like, well, instead of creating a new channel, I'll just, I already have this one. I'll just rename it and use this one. So I took down all the old ones and then just started fresh. And so yeah, I did do that review, but it's kind of just like I reused a channel. So it wasn't like I made the conscious decision, I'm going to go from this to this. It's just I didn't want to create a whole new channel, which looking back, I should have. I mean, it's very easy to start a channel. So, but it is what it is. So that's the backstory on that.
And then you would eventually upload eating contests to your content rotation as well. And so what was your first eating contest like, and how did you train for it? Because I know preparation is a big part of it. Eating contests, food challenges, all you can eat buffets. How was your first eating contest?
My first contest was a meatball eating competition that I did at a place called Meatball U, which is actually no longer in business. I really had no experience with eating contests. I was like, I did food challenges and ate huge meals, but I didn't really have experience with eating fast. So I didn't really know what to expect. I just know I had to try to eat quick. So I didn't really train for it because like it was something new to me that I had never done. And in my head, I'm just thinking, oh, I can eat a lot. So just go and eat a lot. But I would never, I guess, I don't even think it crossed my mind to eat quick. But like, as I'm going, I'm like, oh, I got to eat quick to try to beat these other people. So I ended up getting fourth place behind the Notorious B.O.B., Sean Yeager, and Dan Rock. And that was actually my first time meeting Dan Rock. I had known Sean Yeager and I had met Bob before that, but Dan Rock, it was my first time meeting him. And so I didn't really train for it. It just kind of, I just got thrown into it. So it was fun though. It was fun.
How did you feel after that contest?
And it kind of felt like I wanted to do more, like more contest wise. Like I kind of felt like I could have done better. Like I was like, man, if I would have just, because I think I was one meatball behind third place. I'm like, if I could have just pushed a little harder, I probably could have did better. So it kind of got my foot in the, like wet my appetite for contests. Came a long way since then, and I'm not super into contests right now, but I do like them. It's fun meeting people. It's fun trying new foods, and it's good. It's good publicity too.
Also vary in format. Some are timed, others focus on volume. So how do you train and strategize for different types of contests, or do you just go into it?
Uh, well, since I'm typically more of a food challenger like Randy, I never really, like I said, I never really focused on contests or training for them. But lately, since I've been doing them more to get more exposure, friends typically do water training, which if you don't know what that is, you should do some background on that because it's can be very dangerous. But depending on the contest, I'll also practice with food. And so if it's a hot dog contest, I'll actually practice with hot dogs. Or if it's a pork roll contest, I'll practice with pork roll. So it's a mix between practicing with that food and stretching my stomach. So that's kind of you kind of want to get familiar with the food you're going to eat and work on some techniques while also trying to get your capacity ready.
In addition to food challenges and eating contests, you also upload videos featuring all you can eat buffets. So, what got you interested in filming this style of content? And do you have a strategy going into it, or do you just go?
I like that you said go. Strategy for going into them. Well, filming that style of video kind of came from the dual purpose of needing content and at the same time trying to get a stretch in. So I was like, okay, well, I can do a stomach stretch and do a max out meal, but I can also film it. And it's a great way to show people like my training, how much I can eat, advertise the restaurant, and entertain my fans all at the same time. So it's like, it's wins all around. So I don't really have a strategy going into it. It's just more like I'm going to go see how much I can eat. And then sometimes I'm just like, I got to do this stretch, but I got to keep it low calorie. So sometimes I'll just do like a salad bar and try to eat as much salad as I can just to keep the calories down.
Have you ever been kicked out or banned from an all-you-can-eat buffet? Like, has anyone ever came over to you and said you need to leave?
No, I've always seen videos online of like places that have done that to certain people, but that's never happened to me. I would say the closest thing to that that's happened to me was a couple times I've been at a Chinese restaurant and like before I was even close to being ready or done, the waitress will come over and put your check on the table with with the fortune cookie, kind of like saying, okay, you're done. But they've never like forced me to leave or said like you gotta leave, you're eating too much or anything like that. It was just kind of like a polite way of saying, you've eaten a lot, can you go?
And when you're not recording, how much do you eat at an all-you-can-eat buffet for fun?
I would say it's about the same, honestly. I always try to, if I'm going to be doing a cheat meal, I usually try to make it worth it. I would call that like try to get a good stretch, keep my capacity as good as I can. So it's usually just like if I'm at a buffet, I'm gonna take advantage of it and try to get the best value I can for the food.
Yeah, I try to do the same. I usually only make it to maximum like 3 plates, but it's always a good time.
It also depends
So,
on how full the plates are, right?
yes, yeah, it definitely depends on that. And so let's talk food reviews. So, in addition to all of the content listed, you've also included food reviews in your content rotation. So, when exactly did you decide to include them on your channel?
That's a really good question. I don't think it ever like was an actual just decision like I should do some food reviews. What should I do? It was kind of just more of like kind of like a transition out of like some of the buffet max out meals where it's like I would go to a buffet and eat as much as I can, but also try to like talk highly about the restaurant and promote them and showcase their foods. And so it was kind of just like I'm kind of reviewing the food in general. So it's like, well, now I can actually just review a product. So I think one of my first reviews was an Old Bay hot sauce review. I'm a big hot sauce fan, and the Old Bay hot sauce had just come out. So I'm like, I'll just record myself eating this and let people see what I think of it. And so it kind of was just a natural progression for me. I don't think it was ever a decision. It just kind of happened.
You ever had any restaurants reach out to you after you've posted a video featuring their food and thank you personally for featuring them or even just visiting their establishment?
I've had a couple message me and just say like thank you, or like at least comment on the Facebook post or something like that. But I would say recently I did have one buffet, actually, a friend of the owner reach out to me, and they had seen my one buffet trip that I had done there, that I reviewed them, and they said that they were actually hurting for business, and they actually invited me back to make another video. So in a way, that was like a huge thank you to me, and that really was a almost like a landmark for me. I'm like, oh wow, like this is actually like I could maybe focus on maybe doing some more review related things rather than focusing on food challenges.
And it was a landmark for the goat, like you said.
Yes. Oh yeah, totally.
And so do you research these restaurants, like in menu items and stuff like that before doing a food review, or do you like to be more spontaneous about it?
I would say it's it depends on if there's a restaurant that I want to go to, I'll probably just look up like, or like it's usually something I've seen someone, like a video where it was like promoting this a certain item, and I'm like, ooh, I want to go there and try that. So it's usually me seeing something and then saying, okay, well, I want to go there and review it as well. But then, like I was saying, sometimes they reach out to me and want me to promote them, and sometimes they'll either say, you know, you eat what you want and describe it and make a video, or they'll say, or I'll ask them, what do you want me to sell, like what do you want me to promote for you? So I think it's a bit of a mix of both of those, where it's sometimes it's me and sometimes it's the restaurant.
Have any favorite food reviews that have stood out to you so far, or do you just like them overall?
No, I would say definitely. One of my favorite food reviews that I've done is I reviewed the UK McDonald's menu, like the items that we can't get here. It was like the exclusive items. So that was really fun. Not only trying things that we can't get here, which was awesome, and some of the items were amazing, but also to be able to do that and then release it here for like my US fans to see. Like that just was a lot of fun to do that. But then, like I was saying, I also really enjoyed this recent Chinese buffet review that I did where they reached out to me. That was really, since it was such a landmark, that was awesome. And it's a really good buffet. It's probably my favorite Chinese buffet. If you guys want to go check that out, it's called Teppanyaki. It's really good. And then I would say the only other favorite one would be, the video is not out yet, but another restaurant wanted me to come and do some reviews of their food. It's Grumpy's Pizza in New Jersey. So you guys can be on the lookout for that video. It should be coming out in the next month or two.
We'll have to share that as well. And you also just mentioned about going to the UK and reviewing food items. I know you've done some challenges over there with Max versus Food and others. And so what's been your experience traveling to the UK and just, outside the United States, going on food tours?
Well, I honestly love traveling and love traveling doing food tours. My first food tour ever was a tour out through Pennsylvania into Ohio. I did that twice because there were so many challenges in Ohio that I wanted to do, and so I made two trips out there, two different times, and that was a lot of fun. And then bringing, like when you brought up Max, in the UK, me and Max, we met doing this stuff, so it's like he's my best friend now, and we chat all the time. And so it was just like a natural progression that I go over there and do some food challenges. And I had never traveled out of the country alone before, so it was a big step for me. But now I've done it 3 times now, and it's super fun. And I'm planning to keep that up as long as I can.
Goes global.
Yeah, goes global.
So we talked a bit about your collaborations, but I also want to talk a little bit about collaborations and community. So you've also uploaded collaborations with other talented eaters, in addition to Max versus Food and other YouTubers, content creators. What do you like about collaborating with other content creators, and how many have you done overall?
I love collaborating. Like literally, I would say in the past half a year, that has really been like my focus. My focus has been like focusing on collabs like that. It just makes it that much more fun. So I love collaborating and I'm open to collaborating with anyone. As for how many, I've never really counted how many I've done. It has to be over 20 by now. Maybe even more. My all-time favorite person though to collab with has to be my bestie Max. Max versus Food. I'm sure most everyone knows who he is. If you don't, go check him out. And I've had the privilege of eating with the great Randy Santel. That was one of the most memorable moments, and I hope to be able to do that again someday. I was able to eat with Notorious B.O.B., George the Smorgasbord Chigger, Molly Schuyler, Dan Kennedy, my friend Stefan from Germany, Steel Rod Redeem, Chris, Aka, Old Guy Eats, Franco's Feast, Sean Yeager, Cherish 5 Pound Brown. Just a recent one, Bryant Grimm. He's starting a new channel coming out this month, Grimmy Eat World. He's a new and up and coming eater. I got to collab with him just recently. It's a live stream I did with him eating a 30-inch pizza. That was super fun. I collabed with Matt from Matt's Ice Cream Show, Jack Diamond. That's a old school eater there. I don't know how many people know of him. Brandon Macy, the Titanium Jaw, Dan Rock, Dawsey the Beast, Andy Poole, Ryan Leneve, Carl of Tunnies versus Food, Kyle Gibson of Kyle versus Food in the UK. And here's 2 throwbacks from way back. Julie Seffi from Belgium, who doesn't do food challenges anymore, and Ben from France. And we can't forget my buddy Luke, the Goat Kid. He collabs with me all the time, and you guys will be in for a special treat because I have a very special video coming up shortly with him in it. So collabing, like you can see all the people that I've collabed with, I love it. I love collabing, and the best part of collabing is meeting people, learning new techniques, making friends, and some of the best friends I have now are eaters I've met doing this. So collabs are amazing.
That's really neat, and it just shows your passion overall for not only just collaborations, but just the food scene as a whole. And I just think that's so cool. And how do you handle the pressure of balancing your personal life with the demands of being a public figure on social media?
That's hard. That a lot of people don't see the background stuff that goes on. Handling my personal life and being a YouTuber is definitely very hard to keep up. And lately, it's just been getting even harder, especially the past few months. I've just been really feeling overwhelmed by everything and trying to balance getting content edited and out and keeping my weight in check. And, that with a full-time job, having my son Luke 50% of my time. It's a lot to juggle. And I'm happy. I'm happy doing it. I want to do it. I want to keep doing it. It's just about balancing it and trying to figure out the best way to do it.
And also, have you been recognized in public? And if so, what was the experience like? Have you been either going to the gym or just going out to an unrecorded meal and someone stops you?
I honestly don't recall any specific times that something like that had happened. Like one time at a restaurant, I was doing the Mooney's Mac and Cheese Challenge. And someone in the restaurant actually said that they had seen me in a video online. I don't know if it was my video. I don't know if it was like a collab I did or what, but they had heard of me. So, I mean, it's not like it was like, oh, you're Josh the Goat. I know all about you. So it wasn't anything like that, but they were familiar with me. So that was kind of neat.
And you built a loyal following of thousands through your challenges, contests, reviews, all-you-can-eat buffets. And you've nicknamed that following the Goaty Gang. So how did you come up with that, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I honestly have built quite a following, and it's almost at K now. And I'm very grateful for everyone who has subbed and followed me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all my outlets. Definitely my YouTube is my focus. And I even have a paid subscription on YouTube called The Goaty Gang. I think it's like $2 a month, and you get early release videos and stuff like that. But they're just like, I don't know, it's just a gang of my fans that's to support me in any way they can. like where the name came from, I think it just came from like everyone had like a name that kind of had the two letters of the words being the same, like Notorious Nation. Like it just had that same ring to it. So it just kind of came out to like I was like, okay, D&G, Goatee, and I was just like, oh, Goatee Gang. So it just kind of it seemed to fit well. So I just went with it.
You've also live streamed a good amount of content as well. And how does it make you feel to be in front of a live audience that can chat at any time, say things good or bad? Does it change how you take on a specific challenge or a contest?
I really enjoy doing the live streams and communicating like live while I'm eating because it's almost in the same fashion where you do a collab and you're eating alongside another eater, you're eating alongside your fans. And in the same way, it's like that same feeling of community. And it's so much more fun. And yeah, for the most part, my channel has a very positive. I don't get any negativity really. There's been a few negative people here and there, and I've always responded with love and always tried to give them the best responses back that I can. Eventually, they just kind of give up and just leave. So it's like I try to keep it a fun channel. Like I want it to be positive. I don't want any negativity.
2025 is well underway, or actually, I should say just about on its way. And
Yeah.
so, do you have any upcoming challenges or projects that you can and want to discuss? I know you've already talked a little bit about you have one with Luke coming up and a few other goat adventures. So is there anything you want to discuss?
Yeah, that one's already recorded actually. I just have to edit that one. That one's in the books. But as for the future projects, like I said, I'm looking into the possibility of maybe doing some more restaurant reviews and focusing some more on that if I can. But alongside with that is where I'm doing these restaurant reviews, I want to get the videos out quicker. So right now, I have such a backlog of videos that I got to edit that doing too many restaurant reviews, I'd feel bad not getting the content out quick enough. So right now, I've just got to figure out my editing. So so project wise, that's a project that's on my to-do list, but I need to balance it with the videos that I have right now. But in the future, I'm hoping to do more restaurant reviews and get content out quicker, not only for my fans, but for my sanity. I hate having such a delay with videos. Like the videos I'm putting out right now are still from the summer. Like that's like to me, that's crazy. But other than that, I have a few collabs that I want to do with George Chigger coming up. I'm trying to set something up with Cherish 5 Pound Brown in the next month or two, and have some collabs with my friend Stefan from Germany actually early next year. So he'll be coming over here. And so you guys can be on the lookout for that sometime next year.
So do you do all your own editing?
I do. Yeah, I do all my own editing. I've loved editing. I love computers. I love technology. I used to make silly videos when I was a teenager and edit them online and put them up. So it kind of just was a natural progression to edit my own stuff. And I like doing it. It's just the hardest thing is finding time, full-time job, balancing the actual challenges, having a son now. It's a lot to balance, but I love editing so much. And I don't think I'd be able to afford paying someone to do it. And I don't know if I would enjoy watching a video of mine that someone else edited. It's like I want it done my way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And before we wrap this up, Josh, I would like to ask, can anyone expect another lawnmower review from you?
Probably not. It's probably a 95% no. The only way I would do another lawnmower review is if someone would sponsor it.
And lastly, is there anything you'd like to say to the audience or anyone listening to this right now?
Honestly, I want to say that I appreciate all my fans, anyone that is new, anyone that's been around since I started, anyone that's, gonna be a fan now that they've heard this. I'm thankful to you, Food Challenge News, and Seth for having me. Thankful to all the friends I've made and all the amazing eaters I've met and collabed with. I love all the support from friends, family, and the guidance I've gotten from the whole community.
Includes our Josh the Goat interview. We will have all the links for the Goat's channel in the description below. So thanks to everyone listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.